Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Indies? How's it going? Welcome to Indies Live today on a beautiful Wednesday. Hope y'all are doing well. Give me a what's up in the chat if you guys are popping in here. I'm going to hang for a few before we get started. Make sure people get in here. We're going to be doing a Q&A today. So any questions that you guys have about your marketing, about trainings, whatever it is that you might be working on, I am all ears to hear it and stoked to help you get on the right track or get back on track or stay on track, whatever it looks like for you. Looks like we don't have any comments today on the page. I'm going to refresh it to make sure I'm not nuts. And give it a minute here. Yeah, no comments yet. So if you guys are in here, give me a what's up in the chat. Say hello, introduce yourself. Hey Seshling, how's it going? Thanks for jumping into Indies Live. I appreciate you being here. Hope your Wednesday is off to a wonderful start. Like I said, if you're here, say what's up. I would say from here on out, I'm going to refresh this page one more time, but from here on out, if you guys have questions that you want to go over to cover in this session, drop them to me in the chat rather than on the comments section. That way I can just go through the live chat and I don't have to keep refreshing the page to make sure that I didn't miss something. So I'm stoked to hear what you guys got going on. If you're new here today, this is Indies Live. Oh, Derek, what's up, man? Thanks for introducing yourself so that I can call you by your first name. Dig it. For those of you who are new here, if you're new and this is your first Indies Live, what we do on Indies Live Q&A sessions is I take your questions, anything that you might be working on in your marketing, going through the trainings. If you've got questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities, and give you guys useful feedback, hopefully, and some insights. Maybe give you some ideas based on the things that we're working on across the board here at Indiepreneur, at the IndieX Agency and Indie Founder, new ideas that we're developing and things like that. If I can share any insights with y'all, I would love to. So that's what we do on an Indies Live Q&A. So if you got questions, like I said, hit me in the chat and let me know. I'm going to refresh this page one more time to see if we get any comments. Seems a little sparse today. Usually we have a whole bunch. But maybe it's just a busy week for folks. So Derek, if you have any questions on stuff that you're working on, man, I'm all ears and happy to help. Just shoot me a message here. If anybody else is in, say what's up. And I'd love to help get you on your way with whatever it is that you're working on. I'm going to hang for a few more minutes just to let some people trickle in here before we start going into things, if y'all don't mind. But like I said, if you're in here, say what's up to me and Derek. Introduce yourself. Let me know what you got going on, and we can kick things off. All right, let's just jump into it because Derek's leaving some good questions here, so I want to attack those head first. Um, cool, Derek. So you asked, how much experience do you guys have with electronic music artists and DJs going through the trainings? We do live streaming and filming of DJs and electronic dance music. A lot of the examples and artists I've seen from Indepreneur and on Creative Juice are rock and hip hop. Yeah, that's a great question, and it's one that we actually get a lot, Derek. If you dive into the Indies group, um, if you dive into the Indies group and search for like electronic music, you'll see discussions specifically about this topic, which we have a lot of. Um, it tends to be, especially when it comes to like creating fan finder campaigns, what kind of videos should I be making and things like that. So there's been numerous discussions on the topic in the group. Hopefully you're in there. I assume you are. But if you're not, it's the Indepreneur Indies group on Facebook. So there's like a treasure trove of information in there about this topic. So I definitely would encourage looking at that, because I just pulled it up here, for example, for myself, just to see. And we've got like a thread with like 82 comments, 11 comments, 37, 131, 10 comments, 4 comments, 12 comments. So yeah, this is a pretty heavily discussed topic, and really, I think, just to give you my thoughts and some feedback on things. So you said you do live streaming and filming of DJs and electronic dance music, right? Um, and that's a lot of, I assume, if you've got a bunch of artists that you're working with, or if you're heading up a number of different groups or something like that, wondering what you can do with our trainings. So in terms of the methodology as a whole, the buddy system really applies to any kind of artist, and because that's the framework of a customer, someone becoming a customer for the first time. It really can be applied to any sort of business. You see this with you see this same sort of framework talked about in digital marketing across multiple landscapes, different niches. You'll see it in e-commerce just as much as you see it in music. You'll see it with local businesses just as much as you see it with music. You'll see it with info products and things like that. It's the idea of a customer journey, someone going from being totally unaware of you to becoming aware, to engaging with you, to becoming a customer for the first time, up your value ladder, repeat purchases, purchasing things that are higher ticket, and then becoming a referral source and a raving advocate for you and your brand. This is something that's not a novel concept or a new concept to marketing. It's just applying it to music, to artists, which is what we do with the buddy system. So if you haven't gone through the buddy system training, I definitely encourage you to do that, just to give you the sort of framework. But since you asked, but let me know if I'm way off on that assumption, because I can definitely go deeper into that. Now, when it comes to specifically like DJs and EDM artists, apart from searching the group and going into the conversations that have been happening there, a lot of the big questions that we get are about like fan finder campaigns, how to run a fan finder campaign for a DJ or an EDM artist. Now, what my kind of go-to take on this, and everyone on the team sort of has a different viewpoint or a different perspective on this. A different perspective on this, and we'll probably say it differently, different spins on the same sort of idea. But I think what you need to think about when it comes to creating a fan finder is just thinking outside the box a little bit more when it comes to the videos that you're creating for your introduction stage campaign, your fan finder campaign, because for a lot of artists that are DJs or EDM artists, they're not playing instruments, or they're not front facing as a singer or something like that. So that's where the hang up often comes into play. So it's really just about thinking outside the box, and you've probably come across viral videos that have been done by EDM producers, DJs, artists like that. You've probably come across those sort of things. So sort of growth hacking and looking at that content and thinking, how does this work in with the brand that I'm trying to represent, the artist that I'm trying to represent? Taking those things that you see successfully working from a viral context in that particular style can work really well. I think some of the discussions that we've talked about in the group, actually, there's a really interesting video right here. Here, I'm going to share my screen with you for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. Just to kind of hone in on my point about thinking outside the box. Here's a post at the top here. I just searched for electronic music in the group real quick. There's a post at the top here from Ben Swordlick, and he had posted this video at what he was trying for a fan finder. And you can see it's really far out of the what we would consider spec for a fan finder. But when you're thinking about your music, specifically in like the electronic space, you sort of have to think outside the box. Like all of the blueprints that we give, or the boxes that we give in the fan finder training, aren't necessarily supposed to keep you stuck in that kind of box. It's just to give you a framework or ideas to work with, and then branch out for yourself. So you can see here what Ben put together, and a lot of people here were digging what was going on in the comments. Really cool video, solid sounding music. It just gives people like an eye-catching sort of piece to look at the very top of the funnel, at the awareness stage, at the intro stage of the buddy system. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm sort of talking about when it comes to thinking outside the box. And like I said, there's numerous conversations going on here. I'm personally not super well versed in the EDM scene, so I can't point you to specific examples of like viral video content that you might want to mimic. It's not really a space not really a niche that I work in too much personally. But like I said, there's tons of stuff going on here. It's really just about thinking outside the box. And I think what you might want to look into is, can your artist or the people that you're working with, can they do things like looping videos, production videos like that, where they're creating a track on the spot. I know that there are other artists in here that have done that sort of thing. Actually, let me see. Let me see if I can find a specific video from an indie that I know of that is killing it. And his name is Jordan Perry. I don't know if his video is in here. I don't think that I'm not sure if he posted it or not. Let's see. I'm trying to find it, but you should look up, Derek, you should look up Jordan Perry in the Indies group. He's a producer and also a songwriter and an artist in his own right as well. And I know he's led the conversation on this topic specifically from a production standpoint, about the kind of stuff that you can do specifically in like the more electronic space, and creating looping videos and how you can get creative about that. So I think that would probably be like starting point, and maybe that's part of the question that you had. So let me know if all of this makes sense. I'm just looking through your comments here in the chat. Cool. I'm glad you got access to the group. That's awesome, man. Definitely see the parallels with using the buddy system for artists and applying it to our business. We're marketing ourselves like a musician instead of a business. Yeah, we've done the cool, awesome. I'm glad you did the buddy system training. Digging through the group would answer a lot of that question quickly. Yeah, I think like what going through the group is going to do for you is going to give you some ideas of or point you to ideas of what you can do creatively. Give you examples of what other people are doing creatively in kind of like the electronic music world at the intro stage of the buddy system. I think that would definitely be helpful, just to give you some inspo to work with there. Those are some of the like I said, those are some of the first ideas that come to mind. Actually, here's another guy. I'm gonna share. They're having sex. So this is. I'm gonna share my screen again. These videos are constantly shared in the group. Mark, I don't know how you say his last name, Rebile, or Rebillet. I'm not sure how you say his name, but he does pretty dope looping videos. And while he's more of like funk, like a funk kind of electronic music. But you can sort of see the style that he's going with, and these go viral constantly. I don't know if he's running them as fan finder traffic. In this case, I know that he's not because his headline is "Let me in, I'm trying to fuck," and that definitely wouldn't get through Facebook's profanity walls for Facebook ads. But this is the kind of stuff that I would look at just for inspo from an electronic perspective of what you can do. So yeah, man, dig into that. Hopefully this helps. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know because I'm down to keep the discussion going. But I wanted to give you some ammunition to start with. Yeah, that's the guy. You got him. I would look at that sort of stuff and find ways that you can not totally not rip it off or anything like that, but imitate the qualities that you like about it and use that for your top of funnel intro stage work. Um, take what works from that you dig and you think would be a good fit for your brand, um, and work there. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out, man. Just wanted to give you some food for thought there. And if any of y'all otherwise are in here, give me a shout. If you got any ideas for Mark, drop them in the chat. I'm sure he would appreciate it. But yeah, man, let me know if that helps. Hopefully it does, and I'd be happy to further kick around ideas with you. If you have any videos that you're working on right now, feel free to send them my way. Drop them in the chat or drop it in the comments, and I can take a look. Since we're kind of sparse on questions here right now, I'd be happy to take a peek. If you've got an asset that you're thinking about, just let me know. I can take a peek at it and give you some feedback. Mark, you said something interesting we've done because of the nature of the content we create is in the audience building. We use similar nightclubs, record labels, and publications, not just artists. Yeah, so you said you're more like a Circle or a Mix Mag. DJs come through the club one night, we film them, and then never see them again. So we're creating a channel of just live sets. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Um, to give you an idea of what we do, again, we don't actually make the music. We just film the DJs performing, although that the one happens to be you. Cool. I gotcha. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Yeah. So I think in terms of building the content to get people's attention then, and how you do your filming is where you can really get creative, getting creative with angles, trying to orchestrate viral moments in those sets, even if it's like orchestrating how the sets actually happen, like do certain, this is going to sound crazy, but like do certain like stage things happen, do pyrotechnics go off, um, does confetti fall from the sky? Do people run and rush the stage? What sort of moments can be created in these sets that you can orchestrate with the artists that you're working with and that are coming through? Um, that's the kind of thing that I think you can work to really make cool, and then use that to capture the attention of the people that you're trying to get in front of. So that's something to think about from your perspective. I think that would be interesting and probably catch people's attention. I mean, you can imagine headlines like, I can't believe this is stupid and silly, but just like as a base level example, you can imagine a headline that's like, I can't believe this happened on stage, or like, I can't believe this happened at the club. That's the sort of thing that's going to catch people's attention in their newsfeed. And if you've got a really badass, compelling video to go along with that, um, you could use it, and that would definitely catch people's attention. So yeah, as like a pattern interrupt. So some ideas to think about there. Now that I kind of have a better idea of what it is that you're working on. So yeah, man. Hopefully that helps. Um, that definitely gives me some clarity on since I know a little bit about what you guys are doing. So that's just some stuff that comes to mind right off the top of my head. I do think that that makes sense um, as far as your targeting, to at least try that out um, since you're going after DJs um, and trying to get in front of them, targeting the clubs and the venues. Um, I think that that's like certainly worth testing as well as like EDM labels, publications, stuff like that. It will definitely help to get in front of the right people. I would also say, depending on who you want your top of funnel content to attract when you're running like awareness stage, intro stage videos, is use your headline to your advantage. So find ways to call out, if a specific video is meant to reach like DJs to try and get more DJs on your roster, so to speak. Let your copy speak to that. If you're trying to get people in the door to the club, then let your copy speak to that. And that's kind of how you would work to build like top of funnel awareness for different customer avatars, different segments of the audience that you're trying to reach out to. So yeah, man, this is kind of out of the normal realm of thinking of what we talk about with artists, but it's cool. You can get, like I said, you can get really creative with it, and that's the name of the game. I mean, that's one of the big things that we talk about all the time, is that none of the trainings that we're teaching and nothing about the buddy system is meant to necessarily put you in boxes, put anybody in a box. It's supposed to give you the tool set and the framework to think within, and then use that in creative ways. Your marketing should just be an extension of your creativity, and that's something that I'm constantly trying to hammer on people about, is like, you don't have to do it exactly the way that the 502s did it, or something like that. You can do it however you'd like. You can do it in a way that fits you know your style, your artistry, your brand, your music. We're just trying to give people the toolkit and the framework to think about things in. So this is a cool example of like, you know, how you need to think about things a little differently. And I think for you guys, since you're running a business, there is a completely different there's different sets of tools to think about depending on what your end goal is, and a lot of those fall outside of the things that we have dedicated trainings for right now. So hopefully all that helps, man. Kind of a ramble there, but I get super nerdy and and excited when it comes to kicking around creative ideas like this. So thanks for the great question. I hope that the ideas were helpful, and I hope that you can find a treasure of info in the group as well. Feel free, as you're developing stuff out, to keep coming through the Indies Lives. We do audit sessions as well. I don't know if this is your first Indies Live or not, but we do audit sessions where we will audit your assets, whether it's your videos, landing pages, whatever it might be. We do ground reports where we're going over new strategies that we're working on at the agency or with our testing grounds artists. So that's kind of our little petri dish of dev ideas. So yeah, if you as you're working on things, feel free to bring it to the table we'd love to continue on, especially as I'm on other Q&As. Would love to continue the conversation as you're working on stuff. I'm glad that it was helpful. Thanks for the great questions. It's dope to be able to talk about this kind of stuff, especially on a Wednesday afternoon. Because why not? Let me refresh the page real quick and make sure that no comments dropped in. No comments. Well, cool. If anybody else is hanging on here, give me a shout in the chat. Say hello. Don't be shy. We've still got some time on the clock, so I'd love to answer some questions for y'all if you've got them. Mark's question was great, and we really got into the weeds with some things, so that was a lot of fun. So if you guys have anything, hit me with it, and we can chat. So just give me a what's up in the chat, or shoot me a question if you got it. We're a little quiet today for today's Indies Live. Well, I'm going to hang for a few more minutes. If anybody jumps in and you want to chat about anything, go over anything, you got any questions, hit me with them. Mark, if you've got anything else that you'd like to go over, hit me with it. I'll hang for a few more minutes before we close this thing down if nobody else has any other questions. Mark, thanks so much for hanging, man. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your great questions. Thanks, man. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you soon. See you on the next Indies Live, man. All right, guys. Well, it looks like since there's no other questions, we'll call this Indies Live a little bit shorter. As you guys know, it's anniversary week here at Indiepreneur, and we've had a whole bunch of exciting stuff going on. So I'm sure you guys have seen some of that happening, and it's been an exciting week here, and we're kind of celebrating. So thanks for celebrating with us. Thanks for being here and being so much of the core of what we do. You're an awesome bunch of super creative people, and I'm constantly inspired by everything that you guys are doing. It's really impressive. I'm always finding myself, like I said, inspired. Just seeing the conversations and the communication going on in the group, watching the things that you guys are doing, having these Indies Live sessions, these Q&As, auditing stuff, seeing the work that you guys are putting in. It's really dope. So on behalf of the whole team, I just want to say thank you. You guys kill it constantly. It's great. So not to get mushy with y'all, but it's just really really cool to see people, from all ends of the musical spectrum, the creative spectrum, doing really really cool stuff with their marketing and with their music. So I applaud you guys for all that you're doing, and look forward to continuing the conversations and the chats with y'all, continuing to help out where we can. As always, let us know what you'd like to see, what you love to see, what you don't love to see. We're always open to the feedback from our community, because you guys are total badasses. So I think that we'll call it a day for this Indies Live. And I will see you guys on a future Wednesday, and I'll catch you soon. Take it easy, Indies.